Hello everyone. So if you saw my last stream then you know the premise of what is about to happen. I will be mentioning a game on Steam that I have played before, and just to clarify for this one, I have played it on the Xbox 360. I do have it for Steam, but I haven't finished it on Steam. But for the Xbox, I played it 3 times all the way through, and I love it. So, in order to give you guys the full experience about what the game will entail, I will have to give minor spoilers. And in order for that to completely go through your heads, I will probably have to mention some major points in the game that are either mentioned on the box if you get it, in the description, or off the bat. Let me turn that down, that's a little bit loud. And for anyone who is also willing to want to try this game, I suggest do not do it in the dark at 2 in the morning if you have never played the game before. So, without further ado, let's get on to Murdered Soul Suspect, which is also available on Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, and PS4. If you do not want to do it from Steam, you can pick up a copy in GameStop or your neighbor or anything else. Also, a quick tip. Do not try to Google this without the full title, or you will get a different image. Just, past experience, it was really bad. Without further ado, without me trying to get ahead of myself, let's go with the plot. The plot of the game Murdered Soul Suspect, or MSS, which is what I will be saying from now on, it's easier to say. You are playing as, Ronan. I'm sorry for the names. For some of the characters, they are a little bit off. Ronan, who is a big and really good detective in Salem, Massachusetts. And he eventually gets gunned down, and he dies. And basically, his big journey now is to figure out who killed him, because he cannot move on to be with his wife. And to do that, he needs to find help in some unusual characters that one may not want to associate themselves with in the beginning. Now, the plot, I thought it was really good, and kind of not original, where you're a ghost that died and you need to find who killed you. But it's not that element. Well, kind of. I like detective, murder, mystery, and horror. But that wasn't what brought me into the game. It was the other aspect of the game, which is, as you play the game, you're also trying to find out who your killer was, which is basically called the Bell Killer. And the game incorporates a lot of elements from the Salem witch trials of the 1600s. And I also did not realize I am wearing the shirt that I bought in Salem about the witch trials right now, which is actually really convenient, since it is one of my favorite moments in history to learn about. Now, not that you haven't accidentally seen them before, the setting of everything is that I am sorry if it sounds a little bit awkward. I had to do something really quickly, but my fucking hiccups. The game takes place in the town of Salem, and that means all over Salem. So you have locations like the graveyard, the church, the History Museum, where you learn about the instances of the witch trials to help you learn, and a mental asylum. Of course, there are way more places that you can go to. Just a few of the major ones is what I put here. Now, if I would say most of the places here, if you know a bit about the Salem witch trials, you will know a lot about the places and the town in general. But as far as I know and recognize, the actual town isn't really based off of Salem from what I saw. Now, the characters, I'm mainly going to go over the ones that occurred mostly without giving really big spoilers. Of course, we met Ronan, the detective trying to figure out what's happening to him. Next to him is Joy, a teenager who is a medium and is helping him out, while also trying to find her mom. This guy here, ignore the cop in the background, he's not that important. This is Rex. He is probably head, if I remember, head of the police department, who worked alongside Ronan, and is also the brother of Ronan's late wife. He has his back all the time and will get to the bottom of this the best he can. These two, I did Blackwell before, and how I said those two are a hit, and I didn't realize how similar the two games kind of were with the protagonists, since one is like a middle-aged man who is kind of like rough around the edges a little bit and all that. The other one is kind of moody and is like, fine, we'll get it over with, I'll help you. But when they work together, they are a great team, and they do come in like they're there for each other, and I love that. The other characters on this list, there is the little girl, who I'm not going to say what her name is because it spoils a lot of things, but she comes in and helps Ronan really learn about the ghost world and help him kind of develop his powers a little bit. Then there is Baxter, another cop who is also working the case, but he isn't the nicest guy there is, and basically becomes almost like a villain to Ronan and what he believes in, kind of. Then you have the actual villains of the game, which are the demons. They are scary as hell when you find them. Because when you find them, and I had to warn my friend who was playing this game, who gets very jumpy, if you're in an area, they will screech. And I mean screech. Then when you hear that, that means you have to look around for them. They basically just go from side to side, looking for spirits. If they catch a whiff of you, run like hell. You have to run and hide your spirit, or else they will attack you, and they will eat you up. The only way that you can get rid of them will be discussed when I tell you more about the controls. The artwork and design, which is why... okay, this is weird. I didn't realize I put these images here on this page. So I'm going to switch controls and artwork, the two slides. So for controls and gameplay, basically you will have to discover new clues and hints based off of different objects around you. You can help make connections through sound, touch, sight, etc., while also discovering clues and making ghost entities kind of appear. Which is, if there was a object that used to be there, but it's gone, you can bring it back so that you can analyze it, and you can make it disappear as well, which will go into the side missions, which is also to help other spirits. In order to do that, you have to uncover their story. So you have to uncover mysterious things that happen to them. Also, for achievements, you have to do that as well, where you have to uncover certain things and artifacts and collect them. Now, for the demons that I mentioned before, the only way you can get rid of them is basically if you can destroy them. To do that, it's basically a set of controls that you get if you're able to sneak up on them without warning or making them alert to you. If you can, they disappear into dust. And they will not appear until you leave the house again, or if you die. The soundtrack, it's kinda hard to hear a little bit now, but it's eerie, creepy, gives you a very ghostly feel. And there are times where you really feel like you're in danger and you have to run. And it's terrifying. So, it's very climactic when you listen to it for certain areas. Since every area kind of has like a different thing, like the graveyard and the asylum. The asylum is my worst part about all of it. Just because it's an asylum. And that's where the demons are kind of worse. So it's very creepy. I really, really like it. Yeah, again with the controls and gameplay, but now with the artwork and design. Like I said in the Blackwell series, the ghosts kind of have a tinted palette, a glow on them. And in this case, they are see-through. So you can see basically everything, and you can see the ghostly entities. So, like, everything else in the game is dark, except for the church, which is lit up. The ghostly entities and ghostly buildings and objects are in this blue-greenish tint to it that you cannot walk through. You have to go through everything manually. Everything else you can basically do as long as you have a good entry point. And I will say that all the facial features on everyone, this game came out in 2014. It's very good. And I highly, highly say check it out if you really like artwork. I know that sounds really, really weird, but I think it's good. Overall ranking, 9.5 out of 10. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I love the history around it. I think the only thing that I get really pissed off at would be some of the demons in certain areas, since there are actually ways where you cannot get through an area without defeating all of them if you don't want anyone to follow you. You can attempt it, and you can most likely get through it, but at the same time, there are some areas where you have to defeat them, and they are annoying as hell, because it will take you at least a half an hour to 40 minutes to do it. Now, my overall comments for this game is that if you really like mystery, horror, detective, adventure games where you get really enriched, even in the smallest of details, and even in all the achievements, they all have stories behind them, it's really, really cool. And it's not like something where you can see that you will easily be able to beat something. There are parts of the game where I have almost, like, really mentally just walked away from it because I could not deal with it anymore. There are games that are like that, and I get fascinated all the time where I find one like that. So if you really want a good base game, that will probably... I did like a whole run through of this where I was tried to do all the achievements. Well, I think I tried to beat the entire game, tried to get most of the achievements, because there's one that you're really going to have to look throughout the town for. But, it took me about maybe 2 or 3 days to beat it if you take breaks. But if you don't, you can easily do it in like 2 days. Or 1 whole day if you don't try to do the achievements. But for anyone who will want to do the entire gameplay with the achievements to it, my tip for you is to, when you get to the museum, pull up a guide that will tell you where all the achievements are. Because once you leave that building, you cannot go back. It is a one-time thing. And even now, where I probably know where most things are, I have a guide for all the achievements for that, so that I make sure I don't forget anything, because it is important. So I guess that's it. If you guys like this video, please give it a like. And if you have any other games that you think I would absolutely enjoy, or any games you want to see like as a review, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. See ya!